Alrighty. Let's just see. Alright, any minute now. Good morning, Possum. I've had a stressful morning. I am trying to get things going. And hoo boy, they just are really wanting it to be rowdy today. I'm trying to get my chat to open up in this little window. But hoo boy, it's just really not wanting it to happen. Let's see, pop out chat. Well, what do we know? It worked. Get back over here. I'm definitely running late because I thought that, like a dum-dum, I could come down here and just like start getting to it. But because I have emptied so much stuff out of my basement in the past little bit, I put all this shit like around my desk. So I've been working like in a pile of shit for so long, and I just keep doing it. But I'm just trying to push through it and get the stuff done that I need to get done, that I don't stop to deal with the pile of shit. So this morning I broke my heretical priest at least 3 times because he was knocked off of the cart that he was on and hit the ground. And the first time he was fine. The second time it took the the tip of his like little cone hat, and then the third time it took his backpack, shattered it into multiple pieces, and took the entire pointy part of his hat. So it's just gone. So I'll have to completely resculpt that, as well as damage his gun. Also, then of course one of the lights fucking fell off and hit the table that was sitting up on top of my workbench. Can't have the table here. It's too fucking tall, and knocked some of it off. So it's been a real frustrating morning. So today I'm going to make my workspace fucking work for me like a workspace. And that would be my tip to all of you. Try to make your area work for you, not against you, because that's not working out great for me. It's been really, really stressful. Yeah. So I got a whole lot done yesterday, or at least I felt like I did. The number one thing, and this is hey, that says something about you as a person. But I went through and dismantled 1,000 popsicle sticks. This was something I did yesterday and the day before. And this, I didn't make a video and I didn't do this on stream because, obvious reasons, there's 1,000 of them. I don't think you guys really want to watch me just sit here going. But I'll show you how I do it. So essentially, you take a popsicle stick. These have already been broken. But where the little round is, the round edge of that popsicle stick, I saved all of those. And thank you for your condolences, Possum. I appreciate it. I get really grumpy and then I calm down. My emotions are just really intense, so when they hit me, it's like a little wave. And then I'm like, I'm sorry, I was grumpy. Those aren't even the right tools. This is what I'm talking about. What the hell am I doing? They are not. So, fuck it. Gonna grab a different pair of pliers. But essentially all I'm doing was I was taking these, I was grabbing them by the end and breaking it. And the reason I'm doing that as opposed to cutting it, because I started cutting them. There are a couple at the very bottom of here that I cut. You can kind of see that one. Nope. No, that was a break. There's a couple that I cut, and I started cutting them because initially I was cutting them. You should make a VIP tier for watching the whole popsicle stick making. That is a slippery slope. Good morning, Eric. It is wonderful to see you. Wonderful to hear your name written across the across the chat and hear your words. There definitely is the idea of, oh, if I have a Patreon tier, like, you know, if you pay this amount, all the shit that I don't film because it's like it will take too much time, to absolutely like, yep, I'll just have the cameras running, you can watch. And part of me is like, I don't know. There's just so much that's part of me of I don't want to take advantage of people, and I know that's not taking advantage of people. Like if you were choosing to pay to watch that, it's just there's a part of me that's still like I'm not interesting enough, and I'm aware that that's like crazy because people want to see the thing that's done, but I'm still just very much used to working in an environment where people don't care how you do the thing; they just want to see the results. But going to like this, where I'm like teaching people how I do things, I definitely think there is validity in like, hey, this is how I do the thing. I'm going to show you this because I want everybody to know how I do it so they can do it too if they want to. But I know that everybody wants to see every part. But with that said, yeah, no, some people might want to watch that. I mean, it took a long time. I mean, 1,000, I'm just. But then, so what I was getting at is, and the reason I did all this, so this is a regular popsicle stick, and I was showing my wife this, but in comparison to a 32 millimeter human being, this is roughly the same size as the ties that go across, or not the ties, sorry, these are, I guess, the joists, the actual, no, they might be the ties. So in my house is like essentially a giant cross, like as far as structurally. And yeah, that's why I bought it. It's upside down. So essentially, like I have two main support walls in my house. The one is the horizontal. Like my house is made up of three. If you took three 12 by 20 squares or rectangles and were blam, blam, like that wall, that's one of like, that's the main structural wall. And then you take another one, you go and put it over here. That's the next structural wall. Like, so it's like a T, like a T, with three 12 by 20 rectangles. I'm giving you this information because I enjoy it because it helps me do a lot of my planning, because of how everything, and I know you're probably also thinking 12 by 20, that doesn't add up. Is your house weird shaped? My house is weird shaped. We have, it's called the front room. It was the studio. Now it's the baby room, which I have cat babies, not human babies. Everyone knows that. But that is not on the same, it's above the ground. Like we have a crawl space. Like my basement is a rectangle with a like chest high crawl space that goes up underneath of my the front room. The reason I'm telling you all of this is because it's how I planned, how I visualize everything, is being able to see it from down here, knowing that the top as above, so below, all that stuff. All that factors into how I design things in my house, which is how I design things in my models. But this scale comparison, this piece of wood is roughly the same size as one of these ties. So showing my wife that, it's just like, it lets you know that the ears kind of click. And I say that this is probably closer to a 12-inch scale board as opposed to an 8. I think mine are 8, but it's hard to say. I haven't measured them in a hot minute. But I think this is closer to a 12. And I had cut them in half. Initially, I don't know, it might be an 8. It just depends because feet, hands, there's so many different sizes like in models and everything. So it's just like, I was using this essentially as a 2x4, like roughly that size, that being a 2x4, and then having that in front of a human-sized model, it looked very right, which would make this roughly a 8 to 12-inch piece of wood by like 12 feet. So it's like 1, 2, like 3 2x4s. And that's not exactly straight. I haven't measured these. It's just more of doing the quick math in the very beginning, finding how big a 2x4 would be, and then knowing how to split a popsicle stick into the different links that I'm going to need. And then by doing that, of course, I got, oh no, I got all these clippings. So I have an absurd amount of small pieces of wood to use for rubble and whatnot. The reason that I broke them instead of cutting them, I didn't handle that, was I don't want any clean lines. There's not a single clean line. Sorry, I'm back. Had to make a phone call. No problem, Possum. Thank you. Welcome back, my friend. But yeah, the those little round parts. Initially, I was like, oh man, I could use them maybe as like headstones and stuff. And it's just like, I don't think that. And then I thought, well, I could use them as like shingles. But the shingles on the roofs of the buildings that I've got here, they look a little different. And at the end of the day, I think I'm just going to use them for rubble. The round part, that can be adjusted. But the whole reason I broke them is because I did not want clean cuts. I want every single piece of wood to be individual. Like not by like, oh, I'm making them all, but like by not caring, by not printing them all. I did print a bunch of, I had pictures. I printed a whole bunch of sandbags, and initially I printed a bunch of individual sandbags and then just like stacks, like a set of 2 that were like together. And then I went back and I printed some that were already stacked. And while I do like them and they look very good, they do not have the same kind of look as, let me grab the one that I made. So just looking at the 2, and obviously we're not anywhere near comparison's sakes like yet, but looking at them stacked like that versus stacked like this, one looks much more realistic, but at the same time, these, I'm going to do more over top of them. I think they will be good for especially the Fort Vaux kind of map, but that's what I'm talking about. So like, I have so much shit under my desk still. Today I am going to do a lot of work, but the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to organize all this shit that's around my desk so I can move. And then I'm probably going to set up a table. I got rid of we had an old dining room table that I've been holding onto for years. And I've been holding onto it because it was like, oh, it's solid wood. Maybe, it's nicer, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, it's a heavy fucking table that I've moved from the upstairs to the downstairs. It's the one that had, I'm pretty sure I showed on a previous stream. I'm pretty sure I showed it has the circle burnt into it from someone's moonshine that they made. I mean, it would kill you. That stuff will kill you. But it won't make you go blind. It will make you go blind and then it'll kill you. But so I took that table out and someone picked that up. So where it's like spring cleaning in our town, a lot of people are picking up stuff. If you don't have it, if you have it up by the road and if someone who drives by doesn't pick it up, takes it, like it'll get like, taken to the dump at the end of the month. Spring cleaning kind of thing. But we live on like one of the main streets. I live like right in town where I live. So like, funny enough, our table, I took Kelly to work yesterday because they've got a bunch of stuff going on. That's another thing. Yesterday, it's been a wild week with the water and everything. It's gonna do what? That's good. Shit, what was I saying? It's been a wild week. Kelly's office flooded a whole bunch, so I had to take her to work. And when I was taking her to work, I did something. I don't remember. Shit. Fuck. Her work has a bunch of people there because it flooded and all their stuff, she works at the courthouse, so a bunch of stuff like got destroyed, so they were having to do a complete thing, like, repairing the building. But while I was taking her to work, I was leaving and I drove past something. I don't know. Man, I'm trying to think of what I was talking about. That face distracted me so much, Possum. Shit. I'm going to do it with my carts because I got to get all my recording shit up on there because it's all over the floor. And then I am so sorry. It's okay. I don't remember what I was talking about. I'll figure it out. But yeah, so Kelly also was sick yesterday, so that might have been it. I didn't get much done yesterday or the day before. I've just been in a funk. I've been in a funk, and I think Monday I just got on a very, I got in a weird mood, and then it's just really hard to get out of, especially because the vibe. It's all about the vibe that I'm in. Like when I'm really like working hard, like, and I'm really, really doing it. If I'm like really able to sink in and enjoy it, like I can knock out so much work, so much quicker. But if I'm like in a bad mood or if I've got some like negative shit on my mind, it's just like I just keep thinking about it and I can't get past it. And I swear that's just like yesterday, was just like Monday part 2, and I swear I lost so much of my time. But with that said, I got all the popsicle sticks done. I'm gonna break them. Each one's going to be an individual little board, dude. Same. It's fucking rough out here. Yeah, like it was a rough week. But it's Wednesday, my dudes. I'm thinking I need to fix the foundation. I need to fix the foundation. By that I need to fix the thing that needs to be fixed first. That way I can do what I need to do. And that is I need to make my workshop a workshop again. I've got so much shit that I brought from, because I'm trying to condense the front room, my studio, and my former hobby area into my studio shop work area now, which is over here. I do want that, and I do think that it's going to work, and I do think it's going to be best, but it's a lot, especially when I'm trying to bring everything from both those rooms and other parts of the basement into this area. It's just because I don't want to inconvenience my wife or my family, my little fluffy family, and take too much of the basement or take too much of the house. Like, it makes me feel guilty. So I know that I do that to myself, and I put shit over here and it's under my feet and I can't fucking move. And then for no reason, I just break a bunch of my shit in the morning, like by knocking it off because I'm walking over stuff because I'm trying to make it better for other people, but they didn't even ask me to do that. And that's I guess where my tangent this morning. It's not hobby related. It's just a self-awareness kind of rant. People can't fucking read your mind. And I have to remind myself that all the time. And if you don't, like, that's awesome. Like, I'm glad you don't, but just try to take a moment and think, like, out about, other people that you interact with, and why they may do the things that they do if it seems very out of place or unusual. Just as far as, like, neurodivergent people, that's anyone really dealing with, not just neurodivergence, but just anyone dealing with trauma, anyone dealing with anything that they are doing something reactionary. And I think I didn't start to really notice those things until I dealt with my own shit. But it is impossible for me, and I feel terrible every time afterwards I'm like, oh yeah, hey, I knew we would be friends, because I could tell that you were not a normal person. And they're just like, what? And I'm like, sorry. Again, like, that's not it's not that I can tell when people are neurodivergent. I can tell when people either relate to me because they are, or they relate to me because they have someone that is very important to them in their life that, like, lets them or makes them be able to handle people that think differently and, outside the box, that kind of stuff, in a more positive way, as opposed to just constantly feeling like the world's beating you down for no reason. That's kind of the thing. So it takes a long time to get out of that kind of thing, mindset. But when you do, if you do, hopefully you do, if someone is in that one, it's good. Don't put yourself in that mindset. Don't think that you know what other people are thinking, because you don't. No one is a mind reader. You might have really good, guessing abilities. I have really good guessing abilities, and I have really good pattern recognition. I can guess things typically before they happen based on an encyclopedic knowledge of useful bullshit that, like, only preps me to, like, it's like, I guess, self-preservation. But it's that, yeah, it's the same thing with cats. I mean, cats don't like some people because cats are able to recognize micro muscle changes in your face. You make different muscle movements in your face when you do different things. That's a human, that's an animal thing. Everyone does it. Monkeys do it, cats do it. It's if you came out of the ocean and you've got hair, you probably do some kind of facial thing or something with this to let other members of your species or other species know what you're about. Cats are the one that are just the most, everyone kind of understands. Like, well, if they like cats, they do. But science, I mean, we've done studies. Cats are able to recognize minute facial changes, and essentially they are able to look at that and say, they're able to guess, you know, they're able to see what kind of mood you're in. They are able to read your body language. That's what animals do. And if you are different enough from people, you kind of learn to do the same thing, to kind of guess what they are going to say based on things that have always been said to you or whatnot. And that is how all kinds of fun coping mechanisms, you know, can be developed to help you get through life that make you hate yourself. I hope I move the, oh my God, you're a cutie and I love you so much, micro muscles. Those are definitely a muscle that I think I don't have the ability to control anymore. That when I see my cats, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I love you so much. And I think they know, because they're all so spoiled. The way all the kitties will know how I feel. Yeah. Just like, oh my gosh. Like I'm absolutely the guy that's just like, oh my gosh, can I meet your cat? Or you have a cat? Like, oh man, if I'm at your house and I find out you've got a kitty hidden somewhere, I'm sorry. I'm not going to say that, like, oh, you know, all that. I won't. Fuck off. I'm going to find your cat. I'm going to, if you're like, oh yeah, you know, we're hanging out down here. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I might sneak off and try to find your cat and rub on it and just be like, hey friend. That's that. But yeah. Yeah, I love cats, man. They're just great. So I've got a whole lot more popsicle stick breaking to do. I broke 1,000 ends off of popsicle sticks. Now I just have 1,000 popsicle sticks that I need to keep breaking. But broken in half, these will be roughly the width of a 2x4. And then into a third, Eli jingling a bag of treats through someone's house going, pss, 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 pss. Little friends. Pss, 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 pss. I'm just gonna start doing cat ASMR. Just pss, 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 pss. Hi, little friend. That's the noise that I make when I kiss on Theo, really small. I go, and kiss on his little head, and he just goes. That boy loves kisses. I don't know. Theo's definitely, he is the result of, if you show a living thing only affection, and just baby it forever, it just becomes this sweet little teddy bear, and it's just like, he's just too good for the world. But that boy loves kisses. My roommate said that he was the lickiest cat, and he is. Yeah, Sean did not like how much Theo wanted to kiss you. And if I'm being honest, he can get a bit excessive. He will kiss you until the skin comes off, and then some. But he likes when you give him little kisses on his head, and then he likes to, after you do that, he likes to give you kisses, lots of little licks, and he typically will do it on your nose. But yeah, he will lick your nose raw and then pass it, and you're like, bud, I really don't want to stop. I love your kisses. I love that you love me. Thank you so much. But it hurts. So yeah. One other thing I did, and this is kind of fun. Can you imagine everyone putting you on for the kitties to relax? I would love that. That would be the, I'm not going to start a cult. It's just like, unless that is a cult, then I'm like, if anyone thinks that like that's a bad thing, that like I'm like starting a cult, and it's just like, oh, I just talk to people's cats and I tell them. Pss, 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 pss. Actually, no, that's bad. That's very quickly people are going to be like, oh no, he's a witch. He's a witch. I don't need that. I live in the South. It's already hard enough to keep people from trying to burn me at the stake. So, I don't have a way to show this that's very convenient. Motherfucker. Not only did I do that, but I scratched the plastic on my lens this morning with that table. So yeah, fuck me, God. Anywho, So yesterday, I'm gonna grab one of these little guys. So I went and I got a bunch of insulation foam. There's so much shit down here. Went and got a bunch of insulation foam. This stuff, it is 1 inch thick. This is what you would put in your walls, like a basement, that kind of thing. It was about $28 at Menards, because again, they were the closest to me. And I think they still have their, I think they still do their diversity, and, you know, I don't think they are firing LGBTQ people yet. So I still shop there. But yeah, I don't, there's so many places in my town that I just don't go into anymore. It's just like, oh yeah, you never get money from me again. You did it. I don't know. I really hit a point that I'm just like, wow, if you don't value me as a fucking person or the things that I care about, then you don't get a fucking dime from me. That's that. And I'm going to be really vicious about all the comments I say. I guess that's where I am. I'm just, I was trying to think about obviously 7 deadly sins are a thing that I'm excited to explore with Trench Crusade. But it's very interesting because trying to think about it like that, I'm not a religious person, so trying to think about my faults and issues in that way is very weird, because I don't think that the 7 deadly sins are, I don't even think that they're a good understanding of like human kind of like, they don't cover it all, and some of them cover the same shit. Like gluttony and greed are the same thing. I don't understand. And so is envy. I mean, envy, gluttony, greed, those are all the same chemical response in your brain. I personally just don't understand that. And that's not a Trench Crusade thing, that's a religious thing. But that, again, they thought the world was fucking flat. So I'm not dunking on anybody's beliefs. I'm just saying that the 7 deadly sins, if I actually thought about what they are, it's just like the chaos gods, you know, the big four, all of them are one. All of them are the mental, the psyche, but like when you start getting into sins, it's just like also labeling them based on, you know, the beliefs at the time. It's interesting trying to be like, hey, which one do I relate to the most? Which one is probably my biggest one? Pride is the one that I initially thought. Pride and wrath. Those are the two that I was like, yeah, which I don't seem very wrathful, but it's just because I like to keep that back down. Eric, I think, has seen me be wrathful. I can be, I look very much like a teddy bear, but if I think that you are doing something that is wrong and you are trying to big league your way in, or trying to act like a, you know, an authoritative figure, I not only am happy to, but like I get dopamine. One of the few things that I get dopamine from is turning into that rabid dog that is just tells the other dogs that this guy's trying to fuck us. There's just something about that I've always been really good at. I can really work up all the other dogs in the room. But I'm really unintimidating. That's me. I'm not very big and tough. Gotta use your brain. But yeah, that's my thinking about the 7 deadly sins. I've wanted to work on trying to develop a concept that I'm going to use for my Trench Crusade, the Court of the Seven-Headed Serpent. It is, you know, you have to pick. I guess I should go into that for those of you who do not know Trench Crusade rules. And if you're listening to this, I'm sorry. That's me making assumptions. It's early. I'm just talking. So the Court of the Seven-Headed Serpent, it is like one of the most unique factions in Trench Crusade, if it's not just the most. But I absolutely love it because you literally are playing the Court of Hell. You play your main character is a praetor, praetor, which essentially is a commander. Which again, this is still like they just get a seat at like the table, like at like the big throne room that like one of the actual like archdevils is at, not Satan. Like, so that's another thing. Like, nobody in Trench Crusade, like from a lore standpoint, like Satan's just off the table. Like, that's just not even, That's another thing about like when you talk about occultism. My wife and I watched Hereditary last night, which again, watch Hereditary. It's so good. God, I forgot. There's so many scenes of that movie that I had forgotten about that are so amazing. That are not even just horror scenes. It's just unsettling. There are so many scenes that are nightmare scenes that you don't know that the character is having a nightmare until they wake up, but they are some of the most like grisly, disturbing stuff. That movie's just so good. It definitely is a disturbing movie, and my wife and I watched the special features and the the cursed. It's like a special part of the Blu-ray after, and it goes into how they made it and all the things that they did. And I loved. I already knew so much about like what they had to do just because I know what they were talking about. Payman. Payman is from the. I'd go grab it, but I would get up, destroy something else that I've worked hard on, and then not find it, and come back, destroy something else, and then sit down. So I'll find that later, but and I'm gonna have that out whenever we get into really working on like lore building and stuff. But the Lesser Key of Solomon, the second book of the Goetia, which is a book about making pacts with demons. It pretty much is where Payman, to my knowledge, it's where Payman, which, spoilers again, Hereditary, deals with demonology, occultism, in the way that I love, which is very realistic and very good. Realistic, let me say that realistic, and they did their homework. They didn't say, okay, what are they doing? Well, they're out there worshiping the devil, like Long Legs. Long Legs is a bad satanic movie. It's good until they tell you that they worship Satan, and it's just like no one fucking does that. That's an interesting thing, I think, as far as when you think of concepts and when you think of hierarchies. Like people pray to God, like you pray to God because He's at the very top and He will give you all of what you want. But like when you actually like make deals, like you don't make a deal with the devil. Like the devil has shit going on. Like, and it's just funny that depending on where you're coming from, the recognition of ego and the recognition of importance of self in reference to all of these things. Like, I'm not trying to dunk on anyone's beliefs by any means. I'm just saying these are concepts that like I have to think about when I'm coming up with lore and when I'm coming up with stories. And one of the things that I love the most about the Court of the Seven-Headed Serpent is that they put that in there. That's just like these are at the table of the archdemons. Like, you got this giant table, and like over here is like, the main guy, and like everyone's just trying to sit closer and closer and closer. Like the guy that we play is at the very end of this table. Like he's as far away from being fucking important as he can be, but he is there. So he will be the one that's like sent out, into no man's land, while the rest of these guys are getting ready for the actual offensives, which Trench Crusade takes place essentially between these, which is very much true to World War One, World War Two. That's and another thing there, World War Two. The aesthetic of Trench Crusade is World War One, World War Two. It's World War Two and World War One. It's really hard to say because the timeline is fucked. So the everything is so different, and things that came out at a certain point in time in World War One, but were used in 1930s, like for World War Two, because it's just I really like that they've managed to mesh design aesthetics, concepts, and overall look of World War One and World War Two, and it still feels unique with the rest of the stuff that's got going on. Now I'm looking off at this other picture. I've got the map of Europe from Trench Crusade as like my big monitor's background, just to keep an eye on it and look and see while I'm working what I'm thinking about, where I'm thinking about. And then on the bottom on my monitor, I've got just the original picture that I think most people saw, probably the big cross structure with the antennas on it, and the howitzer, and then a bunch of trenches with crosses on them. And looking at that, it's just like, yeah, no, that's just good. It just reminds me, there's two jets in the sky, and they look like more advanced, like World War II, if not later planes. And I don't know, I've been thinking about that because I love the Red Baron and I love the Albatross planes. And that was such a big part of World War One for me, was those planes. And the idea of making them very satanic or very religious, like World War One trench crusade style, could be really fun. Possum, I believe, is the one that initially came up with the armored train idea, and yes, I am going to go with that for the containers. The containers will become an armored train, so I'm excited. That also, to point a little more towards World War II than tank. Mike Drew and TC was a KV2. Yes, yes, there is a Russian. For some reason, I don't know Russian tanks very well. I have to be honest. Like World War One, I love World War One, so I know all the little tanks and all that stuff. World War Two, I do not know nearly as much about, because my knowledge of World War Two solely, like, I have always been interested in World War One, since middle school. I think the first time that I learned about trench warfare and I learned about how awful all the things really were, it became like oh, that's disturbing. But yeah, I guess nope, not middle school. It would have been, I guess, it would have been college. Yeah, after high school, I read All Quiet on the Western Front, and that was the first time that I think I ever had any idea of what World War One was like, and I became obsessed with it. But it's just because of how heavy that book is and how gnarly everything is. It's just so desensitizing. But World War II, I only got into because I loved Battlefield 1 so much that I said, okay, well, I'll give Battlefield 5 a chance. Hoo boy. So that did get me to look into, because of my love of World War One and its history and all the stuff from it, I was interested in Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1, DICE did such a good job aesthetically. Again, I can't stress enough, it's not like you're in World War One. It gives you an idea, though, of the points that when I'm like, hey, World War One, the fucking worst. Like, it's just real bad. And like, here's a list of why. And like, if you do play through, Battlefield 1 enough, you'll kind of get an idea of like, this is fucking awful. This is horrifying. Listening to people being killed with hatchets or artillery in the background while you're doing anything is just, after a while, you're like, this is bad. It's just not a good vibe. It's upsetting. And that's the same thing with like Hell Let Loose. Hell Let Loose, the thing, and I haven't played it since they changed so much of the communications. But that is absolutely what made that game feel so real and like frightening. Was just having your headphones on and just having the audio where it feels like you're there. Sorry, I was wrong. It's an ISU. Okay, I was like, I thought it was an ISU, but I don't know enough about Russian tanks. The wires, they are all about tanks. I have a Dragon Tiger model that I got for a birthday years ago that is like partially put together, because I do very much like Tiger tanks. I very much liked, my favorite, like aesthetically, is probably a Panzer IV. They are very visually appealing. I just like the way that a Panzer IV looks. Tigers are really cool. And I guess the things that I love about World War II, and it's an assault gun, not a tank. Yes, kind of like a Stug, or STUG. I think it's called a Stug, but yeah, just like a big cannon on treads. But yeah, the Tiger. The more I learned about Tiger tanks, the more I was like, okay, this is really fucking interesting because of how insane they were. The instruction manual, like, it's this kind of stuff that I love. The instruction manual for the Tiger had cartoons drawn in it. Stu, yeah, I remember Stu though. Yeah, no, there's so many wild like vehicles that came out during that time. And then Shermans are cool. I loved in the movie Fury that they used, like the cast of, like they used a real Sherman cast and essentially like they modeled it after the original tank. And then they actually did use the last functioning Tiger tank in the movie, which again, it's a very Hollywood movie, but I appreciate that. I appreciate that literally that is the last, like, I think actually there might be three. There might be three functioning Tiger tanks in the world still. I know there's only 7 AV7 German World War I tanks. I'm pretty sure there are only 7 in existence still. And one of them I know is in Australia. I don't remember where the other ones were, but the Tiger tank that still functions, you can go see it if you live in England. It is towards the bottom. There is a tank museum, and they have like shows where they'll drive it, and that's pretty cool. Because again, yeah, like that's like, if it's not the last fully functional Tiger tank in the world, it's like one of 3. And that's cool when you understand history. And also, like, again, like, I'm not trying to, everyone here knows how I feel about fucking Nazis. The World War II is really weird for the Germans, because so many of them were just regular dudes. And by that I mean men and women. Like, it's such a complicated, that is a complicated situation. Yeah. So the reason I like the Tiger though is because it is one of the most criminally over-engineered machines that has ever existed. It is literally like the Nazis went to their best engineers and they were like, build the best fucking tank ever to exist, and they were like, yeah, and they did it. And they did it. They made a tank that it just dunked on every other thing even close to it at the time, like, period. Like, until the Russians made things specifically to like kill this, until other people made things specifically to kill this tank, they really did make the most absurd like war machine. However, they're not the guys operating it. Like, they're the engineers. And I love that. That's the part I love about it, because it's just, it's, you know, yeah, it was fucking World War II. There's still Nazis. There's Nazis. There's all this shit that is going on with the world, but people are still fucking people, and engineers still are fucking engineers. And people that like drive the tank are still the guy who drives the tank. They're still not the same people. I just find that very funny. And the reason this is funny, it was so over-engineered and so insanely complicated that the instruction manual had all kinds of little pictures, like pornographic, like kind of like kind of like real creepy shit, but then like also goofy shit in there to like keep the crew's attention, like, because of how convoluted maintaining this machine was. And I love that. There's just part of me that loves, like, we made a machine that is really good. However, the weak point is going to be the humans inside. They are going to get so tired of dealing with this bullshit that they are probably going to fuck it up. And then it's just going to be a really, really, really big, expensive paperweight in Africa. Because that's where, like, they really made a name for themselves, was just where they could reach out and touch tanks, like, that couldn't even see them. Yeah, tiger tanks are very scary. But yeah, it is 7:40. I've talked forever. I'm going to go make some coffee. Thank you guys so much for listening to me rant and rave. Tried to take a little bit of positivity from all of my ranting. Hopefully you guys can do that. I have faith that you can do that. You're all doing great. So yeah, I think I'm going to go make some coffee. And then I'm probably going to get at it. I got to clean. I'm going to make this more functional so I can get my work done. Yeah, until then, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care and sit pretty.